It's been 6, almost 7 months since we moved from the United States to Sicily, so it's about time that I give you an update. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tia B, and this is Tia in real life. I first started documenting our journey over on my main channel called It's Tia, but it was getting a little confusing with the algorithm with the type of content that I post over there, so I decided to make a channel that is completely dedicated to our life here in Sicily. Now that we've been here for a while, I really just wanted to give an update and just kind of share my thoughts about being here. First, let's talk about culture and daily life. The biggest culture shock that still catches me off guard, I would have to say, out of everything that I've experienced so far, the driving. Oh my gosh. I feel like that is one thing that still just makes me pause every single time that we leave to drive somewhere. Now, if you're from a big city like Chicago, maybe even New York, something like that, then you may be used to the type of driving here, but I feel like it's that, but on steroids. People here tend to drive really fast, and some of the roads are very narrow. Yeah, it's just very scary. So I'll have to say that that is the one thing that still kind of just catches me off guard, and I'm still like on edge whenever we go out and drive. So I actually don't do a lot of driving because I just get very anxious, and it is not good to be an anxious driver here. So my husband does the majority of the driving because I'm still in the car like, oh, what is going on? Where are you going? Where are you going? You're going so fast. And we've also had some experiences where like a 2-lane road turns into a 3 or 4-lane road, and yeah, it's just not for me. Okay, I drive every now and again, but for the most part my husband does the driving because I'm just still trying to get used to it. I am trying to, stretch out a little bit, get out of that comfort zone, because I do want to be able to explore the island, especially when my husband is at work and it's just me and Turtle and we want to go out and things like that. But I'm gonna leave the driving to him for now. When it comes to the food, I feel like there are so many great options. I'm in quite a few Facebook groups that's just all about Italy, Sicily, and things like that, and I see so many people complain about how they haven't been able to find good food here, and I think you just haven't looked hard enough. It's usually like the really touristy places where the food is kind of just mid, but if you are open to just going out and adventuring and trying like the mom and pop shops or even the food at the grocery stores, the pre-made food there, hot food there, it is so good. And the one thing that I really love is there's actually quite a few cuisine options. So you have Italian food, sushi, which is, I don't know, it's so interesting, but I guess it makes sense because it is an island surrounded by water and there's so much fresh fish. Sushi is a really big here. Also, there's Thai places, there's Indian food, like there's Korean food. I'll be posting a video about a date night at a Korean restaurant very soon. But yes, there's so many options when it comes to food. So my relationship with food, I feel like, has expanded. I feel like being here has really made me a bit more adventurous. There are things that I never thought that I would try, or not that I would never eat, that I have actually eaten here. And my son Turtle, he absolutely loves the croissants, or as they're called here, cornetto. Every day, mama, can we have a cornetto please, mama? And I'm like, okay, we get a cornetto. And so it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I have developed a deeper love for food because so many things are so fresh. Like you have lemon groves, orange groves, olive trees, you have all of these fresh things around you. So especially when you can get it fresh, tomatoes, like just, I don't know, the produce here is just so much fresher than what I remember from the States. And it just makes me want to try fruits and vegetables that I probably wouldn't eat when I'm in America. Another question that I get quite a bit is like, how have we been accepted into the community? And I have to say that the Sicilian people are some of the most warm, kindest people that I have ever met. I feel like everywhere that we have gone, and I don't know if it's because we always have our son with us or what, but they just treat us so kindly. There was only one incident where like the attitude of the person was a little bit standoffish, but I think it's just because the restaurant was really busy. I don't think it was because of us, if you know what I mean. But overall, like, it has been so warm, so welcoming. And even when you're trying to communicate with someone who doesn't speak English very well, like, they are very patient. We use Google Translate to help us. I'm also learning a little bit of Italian, so sometimes I'm able to understand what's being said and communicate. But overall, it has just been a very welcoming experience. Now, I will say, which I'm going to get into a little bit later, our overall adjustment period to being here has not been easy, but just hold on, I'm gonna get there. As far as the practical adjustments of being here in Sicily, something that I thought would be easy but turned out to be extremely difficult was finding housing. Now this varies from person to person and like your, I guess, purpose for moving here or how you go about moving here, but for us it took us a very long time to find a place that we really liked. Now I will say that Sicilian homes are very different from what we are used to in America, so we're trying to like level our expectations of what we will find. I actually have 2 videos over on my main channel about our house hunting journey, and yeah, trust me, you're gonna want to check those out. I'll link them up above if you do want to see them. Yeah, that whole journey was probably the most stressful, the most time consuming. It is so hot out here. I thought I was gonna try to be cute and record a video outside, but I am sweating. Yeah, finding a house was like the most stressful part. It literally took us like 5 months. Yeah, about 5 months-ish to find a place that we actually really liked. And we looked at a lot of houses. I'm pretty sure we looked at over 20 rental properties before we found one that we really liked. But that journey was actually, I feel like it was purpose in that, because we thought that we wanted like a super modern, like up-to-date type of home, which is something that is extremely rare. So we found one, but it was very far out from where my husband works, and we're like, yeah, that drive, it's not gonna work on a daily basis. And then on top of that, with me being a stay-at-home mom, I really needed to be somewhere where I was close enough and like felt safe driving. So being all the way out in that area was like, this is gonna be a no-go. I'm gonna be depressed out here because I'm not gonna want to drive out here, because like out there, there's very hilly, like the driving, like I said, is chaotic compared to what I'm used to, and I knew I would be on edge all the time, and that would make me just stay at home, and that's something that I did not want. So thankfully, like at the last minute, we found the home that we currently live in, and it is in the most perfect location. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to like give too many details about our house. But it's just perfect. I absolutely love it. It definitely has some Sicilian charm, but the size of it, the layout, everything is exactly what we wanted. It's not as modern or as updated as we thought that we wanted, but it's okay because everything else 100% makes up for it. I mentioned earlier that I have started to like learning Italian and stuff like that, and I would say I've progressed a little bit. I've moved on from the buongiorno or the ciao, having like, you know, some sentences, like being able to introduce myself or understanding. Like I feel like I understand more than I'm able to speak, which I feel like is good, because when I'm out places I can kind of, you know, listen to what people are saying and be like, oh yeah, I know what that means, I know what you're saying. You know, it's kind of like testing myself while we're out and about. But I will tell you, I had a very embarrassing mistake at a restaurant. It was when we first got here, and I've been using Duolingo. I also have like some other resources that I use as well, but when I first started learning, I was using Duolingo, and we were at a restaurant and I was trying to ask for the check, but I said, vorrei lo scontrino per favore, right? And he was kind of looking at me like, huh? And I was like, scontrino. So then he brings out this huge slice of cake. I mean, it's huge. And cake is actually torta, so I'm not sure like how I don't know. But anyway, he brought out this huge slice of chocolate cake, and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, the check. And so he's like, oh, okay. And so he took it back, and I felt so bad because I did not want that chocolate cake. I actually hate chocolate cake. It's like, ew. I'll eat chocolate things, but chocolate cake, not for me. So he went back, he took that back, and then he wound up bringing us a check or whatever. But check in Italian is actually conto. So I should have said il conto, not il scontrino, which means the receipt. And so it was just like a whole mishap. We kind of started laughing about it after the fact. But yeah, that was probably the most embarrassing thing that has happened. Recently though, we had someone who was speaking to us, and I could understand what they were saying, so I was able to respond, but then they just kept going and going and going. So they assumed that I was like super fluent in Italian. So eventually I was like, oh, no parlo italiano, mi dispiace, like sorry. And so it was just so funny because it's like, I don't know, certain things I know, but then there's like a whole list of things that I don't. So there have been some mishaps, but they've been pretty innocent, and thankfully it hasn't been anything that has been like life altering or, you know, nothing like that. One thing that I'm so happy that I brought with us was our filtered shower head and handheld shower head, because where we live, and I don't know if this is all of Sicily, but in our area, we have hard water and like the mineral buildup is insane. It has actually affected everything from my hair to my skin to just everything. And so I bought not bought, but I was gifted a filtered shower head system when we were living in the States. And I was really nervous that it wasn't gonna fit the tread of the, systems here, poles and all that thing. But thankfully it worked, and it has made a huge difference since I have installed that. So if you're thinking of moving from the US to Sicily or any other area that has hard water, I definitely recommend that you bring a shower head. You can also purchase them here, but I feel like the one that I have is a little bit more heavy duty, so I like it. I'll have it linked below if you want to know what it is. It's from the brand called Canopy. But that's one thing that I'm really happy we brought. I feel like everything else that we own, you could get it here. Like, you can definitely get it here. They have everything. It's not like, some place that's just out in the middle of nowhere. They have everything you need, malls, shopping centers. So I don't think that there's anything that you would necessarily have to bring with you that you can't get here. They also have services like Amazon and, all the online services. So you can easily order anything that you need. Emotionally, it has definitely been a journey moving from the US to Sicily. I feel like not necessarily the move overseas being emotional, because like I said, we've done that before. I've actually been away from home since I left for college, so me moving isn't a thing for me. But I feel like the adjustment of when we first got here, so we used to live in Okinawa, Japan. If you've ever been there or have been to Japan in general, then you know just like what that atmosphere is like there, how clean, safe, like the driving even is pretty chill. At least in Oki it was pretty chill. So going from a place like that to here, I was like, did we make the right decision coming here? Because it's just like the vibe is just different. Like the cleanliness is different, the just everything, like there's just so many aspects that are so different. And I feel like not having a house, like when we moved to Japan, we were able to find a house within 30 days. Like got there, got a house, moved in. Here, because it took so long, that really took a toll on me, especially mentally. And then having, our 3-year-old with us, it was a lot. He was fine. He was able to adjust every single place that we moved to, because we moved from like 5 different places in that 5-6 month time frame before we moved into our house, and he was able to adjust wherever we moved to. But for me, I'm like, man, I'm so tired of moving. Like I just feel so unsettled. I can't even enjoy our time here because I feel like I just have this cloud hanging over me about, trying to find a place to live. And that was the most stressful and most emotionally draining part. I cried so many times, not about necessarily being here in Sicily, but because we didn't have a house. And I'm so happy that we finally have one, because it's starting to finally feel like home. We have all of our belongings. Our son, he's just living his life, enjoying it. We have a backyard. We have like all this stuff. So it's like, it's much better now. Like now I feel like it's starting to feel like home. I was having a conversation just the other day with someone, and they were asking like, would I ever go back to the US? Do I miss being there? Short answer, not really. There are certain things that I miss being able to go out and do in the States, because I feel like here there's no indoor stuff for kids. There's really nothing to do with kids here besides like the little water park, amusement park that they have. And yeah, the parks just aren't that great here. So as far as being able to get out and do stuff with my son, I definitely miss that aspect about being in the United States. But as far as just the safety of being here, ease of life, living that island life is such an amazing feeling. The ease of travel, the cost of travel is very cheap. Just being able to travel a lot, those are things that really make me love being overseas, and especially here in Sicily. Like we've been able to travel for the low, okay? Like finding flights for the 3 of us for less than $300. Like what? You can't even go state from state half the time for that amount of money. So would we ever move back to the States? I don't know, not right now. I have been loving being able to just explore other parts of the world that I've never seen before. So maybe we'll consider going back once our son is in college. I don't know, we'll just have to see. Finally, if I could give myself one piece of advice before I moved, and I guess a piece of advice for anyone who is considering a big move, like moving to another country, just know that things take time and they will get better. Understand that it is truly a journey and that not everything will be perfect, not everything will happen the way that you want it to, but eventually it will all work out. So with that being said, I am so grateful to be here in Sicily and to be able to have this experience and experiencing new things. Once it starts to get cooler here, I definitely plan to do more exploring. It's just way too hot to try to go out and do things when the sun is just beaming the way that it is. I feel like the heat here is a bit different from what we're used to, so we haven't really gone out and done like outside tourist activities, but I definitely want to become a tourist in my own city and stuff like that and really just show you all what all Sicily has to offer. I do have quite a few vlogs lined up of things that I've been up to lately, so if you want to see those, then make sure you are subscribed, turn on your notification bell, and come on back so you can check those out. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Before I forget, if you have any questions about Sicily and just our life here, or just anything that you want to know about the process of moving to another country, definitely let me know down in the comments. I'll be sure to answer your questions to my best ability. But really this time, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.